Well, with that, let's invite yet another corporate. The stock has been buzzing. The stock on our radar is Ujjivan. It's been buzzing following the improvement in asset quality and the pickup in disbursements that we saw in the second quarter. Sudha Suresh, Managing Director and CEO of Ujjivan Financial Services, has joined us now. Sudha, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. While your business definitely showed an improvement in the last reported numbers when we spoke to Mr. Samit Ghosh as well, if you can give us some idea of whether you all are looking for inorganic moves. You're frequently being mentioned as a candidate that will merge with one of the banks.
Good morning, Lata, and it is good to share that definitely our growth and disbursements have moved up and they are looking much better. From the fact that are you looking at some kind of an inorganic growth, we would like to indicate that Ujjivan is charting its own independent path. We have an excellent infrastructure now, and we are focusing on growing the strong foundations for a successful small finance bank. So we chart our own path. Is what we would like to communicate.
But you have been approached and you have said no. How should we understand?
We have not been approached, and therefore these kind of statements are not correct.
Okay. Mr. Suresh, good morning. Just one more point on that, and just to get to specifics here. So, Kotak Mahindra Bank has not, put any proposal to Ujjivan.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And the other name that one kept hearing, ma'am, was Yes Bank. I don't know. I mean, if you could just set the record straight on that as well. Any conversations with Yes Bank?
Lata, the answer is no.
Okay.
As much as interest could be there everywhere, our answers are very clear that we are charting our own course.
Okay. Well, that was Surabhi, my colleague, Sudha. But, let me now continue with your organic growth questions. It was a fairly robust quarter-on-quarter growth that several NBFCs saw. Ujjivan, 14%. Do you think you could do better than that? What's the full year target?
I think we'll definitely be doing better than that. As we said, the disbursements have become much better and more beyond business back to normal. I think we are looking at excellent growth in Q3 as well as Q4. And I think more or less for the industry as well, you will see the Q3 and Q4 presenting much better numbers. And overall, the industry growth would be, quite robust. For Ujjivan, we have given a guidance of 18 to 20%, and we do stand by that.
Okay.
So, Ms. Suresh, as you're talking about, overall growth, what is going to be the branch rollout to sort of get to these sort of growth targets? Because the one, if I could say, the critique that has been raised in the past is that the branch rollout is maybe not as quick and as aggressive as some of your peers. So, what sort of numbers are you working with for the year?
Okay. So as we look at a branch rollout in a phased manner, we have stuck to our schedule. Our branch rollout plan for the year includes about 160 branches, converting them into full-fledged banking branches, as well as looking at about 29 unbanked rural centers. So that's the plan for the year. And next year we will be, most likely ramping up and trying to convert as many, if not all, branches into the full-fledged branches. The probable difference could be that some of the SFBs could be looking at opening only liability branches, whereas when we say in terms of opening up of bank branches, what we are looking at conversion into full-fledged banking branches, which will serve both on the asset and the liability side. And it would be probably an umbrella for growing all our verticals. More than microfinance, we are also looking at MSE, affordable housing, and of course the liability franchise.
Okay. Sudha, your demonetization related woes were already coming down in the second quarter. We saw a dramatic fall in your GNPA. Can you give us some guidance on how things have panned out in this quarter? We are almost 2/3 over in this quarter.
I would say that for the third quarter, the situation will be far better, basically because we have taken the, major impact of it, or almost, the major part of it already in our Q1 and Q2. And we are also seeing robust collections coming back on the overdues through our collection team. Yeah. So our Q3, probably could indicate a minimal impact of any leftovers. Okay. But overall, I think our numbers will stand very strong, both in terms of the reducing GNPA and the NNPA.
Okay. A word on cost of funds, because you have enjoyed falling cost of funds over the last few quarters. there's a belief in the market now with PSU banks being recapitalized, there's going to be a lot of competition. Do you think the best of that story has played out in terms of reduction in cost of funds?
So we are seeing a steady reduction in cost of funds. We would like to indicate that from a position of 10.5 plus as the average borrowing cost in March, by September we are already standing at 9.5. And what we are looking at steadily with the fact that we have diversified sources of funding, the scheduled bank status has also come along. We do expect that in the next half year, probably another 100 basis points is also in the offing. So continuously we have good news on the reduction in terms of cost of funds.
And ma'am, where would that then place your margins? Because there was a margin improvement in Q2 as well. How do you think you might end the year?
So we definitely look at NIMs closer to about 10.5, but we'll need to see how this pans out with the kind of growth and the OPEX and other costs which come in. But overall, I think the numbers should be far better.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Sudha Suresh, it's always a pleasure having you with us. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. It's a very confident note coming in from Ujjivan Finance, and of course also denying any of those inorganic rumors that were floating. Let's take a break on that note. Up next is yet another very big guest, Kulamani Biswal.